All right, guys, welcome back to the Nerdy Playbook podcast. I am Coach here with Skeeter and Tmac, and today we're going to talk about our experience at the Detroit Sports Spectacular. It's like a card show with a bunch of like current, former athletes, and I don't know, was there other not athletes at the thing this year, John? I can't remember.
They had the cast, well, some of them, I shouldn't say not all of them, but they had the cast of Mighty Ducks and the Sandlot.
No, he was asking for non-athletes.
Yeah, I was like, that's pretty much athletes in this sense.
Fine. I don't know. There was a influencer there, I think. I don't know what she did.
Yeah,
But
they're there for autographs and pictures and stuff. And some of those prices, outrageous.
I mean,
I remember last year we went, and I can't remember. Did you get an autograph or a picture last year with anybody?
no, because the lines and I'll get into that in a minute because I was thinking about it today, kind of thinking about information to talk about today, and I have a little bugaboo with how they do that. So, yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, we all had kind of a different experience. Some of us did more, some of us did less, some of us did nothing. I know for me, I didn't say names. I didn't look at certain people. I know for me, I had one sole purpose there, one sole reason. It was to offload a few cards. It was definitely out of my comfort zone. I like talking to people, but I also don't I'm not a negotiator. You know, I did go to college for psychology, so I know like the whole, lowballing and all that stuff. So it was like, while it was happening, I was like, okay, this is real life. You know, I've read about this, but it was interesting to see and kind of like, I know when we first walked in, John, I was like, hey, should I go to this first table? And you were like, no, don't go to the first table. And I remember when I walked in, I saw that first place and I literally told you, I was like, hey, I see these people on TikTok. So I'm not going to lie to you. I did want to go, but I think I appreciate you saying no because I felt like whatever that group would have offered me, I would have taken. And for anyone asking, it was a 9 BGS graded 9 LeBron rookie card, 2 or 03, whatever it is, Topps Chrome. So like the value was like 2,500, like straight, which I ended up taking like 2,200. It was a really good deal. Anybody would have taken that. I shouldn't say anybody. I'm sure somebody out there would have gotten more for it. But to me, it was interesting walking around, seeing all the dynamics, and the two groups of people that I worked with, really good people. They were kind of going through with me and showing me these like different apps that I should be using. And I really appreciate that. And to those people, I would rather work with. And even if I lost money on the card, I would feel better at heart, just knowing that it seems like it went to good people. Because there was apps that I'd never even heard of. There was an app that was called Alt, and you like if it's a graded card, you take a picture of the cert number, and it sends you to this whole thing where you see every listing, not just like on eBay or something like that, but every listing that has that specific card, shows the prices, when it was sold, if it's still up. It has like a bar graph, if the card's hot, if the player's hot. It's a really interesting thing that I had never heard of before. And this guy had shown me all about it, talked to me about it. And it was cool because it was him and his brother working the card shop. And they're like, yeah, we want to buy it from you, but we understand this is our offer. We want you to go walk around and see if you can get anything better for it. Right. And to me, that was kind of cool because it was like, all right, these guys seem genuine. Like they're not trying to force anything on me. They're not telling me this is the best offer I'm going to get. They just seem very genuine and like good people to me. So I was really appreciative of that. Skeet, what was your experience kind of? I got a little more, but let me hear something you got.
For someone who has, I've been I'm not going to say a professional at it by any means. I'm a dabbler when it comes to sports card shows. I've been to many. My dad started taking me when I was really young. We used to go to there was one, I believe every month at Gibraltar Trade Center. We would go there all the time, buy a box, buy packs, buy, all that stuff, get home. Some of my fondest memories with him were, getting home, sitting at the kitchen table. Usually I'd con him into buying me a box of hockey cards or something like that. And kind of just opening them up. I never really saw the I guess the wheeling and dealing of it. You know, it's smaller shows, things like that. You get a little bit of it, depending on, you know, what you're trying to do there. But this is just on a different level. It's not a small show. The thing said they had 600 tables. I don't know if there was or not, but it seemed probably pretty close. And it's an overwhelming situation, at least in my eyes. And I've been trying to think of a way to put it, because some people have asked me about it since I went. And you have to go to that place with a goal in mind. You can't go there to browse. Obviously, there is a level of browsing that happens.
So let me interrupt you on that, because thank you, and I'm going to interrupt you. Don't forget what you want to say, because I told you guys when we went, two of the things I was looking for was for a friend was a Messi card and a Ronaldo card. Even if I wanted to, aside from the other thing that I wanted to do is offload a couple cards, I was overwhelmed by everything else. Trying to look at some of the shelves, or whatever you want to call them, the cases. Some of the cases, my eyes were just going everywhere, bro. You said the word overwhelming. I even have that written in my notes. Like, anytime I looked at something, my eyes couldn't even register what was in some of the cases, because there was so much going on, whether it was in the case itself or like around me, or just like you said the word, man, overwhelming.
Yeah, and like I said, you have to go there with a mission. If you are looking for something to make money on, I don't know that it's a place for someone like that. I would think that things like this are more of like a personal collection type situation. I went there with a goal of trying to find a couple of Red Wings rookie cards, one for Lucas Raymond, one for Moritz Seider, and it kind of narrowed everything down. Because I noticed as I'm walking up and down the aisles, it's that, like you said, your eyes are darting left and right, and you're seeing, you know, this over here, but then you stand in front of that case and you're just so overwhelmed by looking at the different cards, the variations, the prices, the things like this. So you could spend, and realistically, with all the stuff that those people bring, you could spend the entire show looking at one table. And you have to kind of understand, hey, this is what I'm doing today. I'm here to find these cards. And for the most part, I would say, for the most part, I know that some people I've seen have had bad experiences, things like that. For the most part, card people are very nice. They're very helpful, and they're very understanding of what you're trying to do. You know, if they're saying, you know, hey, I'm looking for this, that, you know what, I don't have that, but if you want to, I think there's a guy like 2 rows over, just look for this and see if they've got it. I was attempting to sell a original, not a first edition, but an original Blastoise Hollow that was graded an 8 from PSA. And I had gone to, I want to say 6 or 7 tables before I finally found someone that I sold it to. And they all kind of were like in the same ballpark, but just the vibe I got from this guy at this table, he was really welcoming. He was like, I've never had a card from this, this set graded like this, blah, blah, blah. He was really excited about it. And I could tell that he actually said he was buying it for his PC versus buying it for his company. So that's why I ultimately decided to sell it to him over anyone else. But, you know, they're very welcoming. They're very understanding. If you go up to them, you say, listen, man, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm here. I want to do this. This is what I'm looking for. What do I do? For the most part, you definitely will find a table or two that will try to rip you off. But for the most part, you know, going in there with the expectation, hey, they have to make money on this, so they have to have wiggle room. You have to understand that if the card's worth $400, you're not going to get $400 for it.
Of course.
You're going to get 75 or 85%. And as long as you're okay with that, you'll have a wonderful time.
Oh, anyways, kind of what John was just saying. I want to go back a second about the price point. Like, cards worth 400, you know, you're not going to get 400 for it. Now, number one, like, this is not the second year in a row we went to this thing, right?
Yeah.
I felt like it was actually bigger this time. I felt like there was more tables. I don't know how many there were, whatever, but going to the Detroit Sports Spectacular in Novi, it's very overwhelming when you walk in. Very overwhelming. But at not at each table, but at a lot of tables, I did like that there were a lot of tables that they pinpointed, like, but there was some type of signage, buying, we're buying. And on pretty much all of them that said buying, like, I seen one table that was like 75 to 80% at value. One was like up to 95%. So like they were pretty upfront about what they would potentially give you if they were going to buy. which is nice. Is now you kind of know what you're getting yourself into, but you definitely still have to fish around those tables.
Of course.
And I thought the organization was nice too. Like John was trying to offload that Pokemon card, and I walked over there with him, and there were pretty much two back-to-back aisles. All that was Pokemon right there. Like everybody had Pokemon. One had like I don't know what those cards were. It was some type of anime, but it
One
wasn't
Piece, I
Pokemon.
think.
Yeah, I would say the
It
one
might
guy
have
that I was
been.
talking
That's
to was
very
One
popular
Piece.
right now. Yeah.
Yeah, I'd never seen that before.
I actually asked him about One Piece. I'm like, listen, man, like, what is that game has been out for? I think he said 23 years. I'd have to verify that, but
Game?
he's the
card?
Like the
show
card.
and the card game.
Yeah, the show.
It was just never as like big and never as popular.
Yeah.
And apparently, obviously, it's blowing up since it's on Netflix now and all that stuff. But I'm like, how long has this been out? He's like 23 years. I'm like, bull. Like, no, but yeah, apparently.
That was the first group I got to work with. They were very nice. They hooked me up. The second guys I got to work with, the first group were brothers. That was really cool. The one guy's name was Steve, ironically. That was cool. The second group I work with, there was a father and son, which also awesome. And the only reason I even stopped by was because the guy's shirt had like a comic bubble on it. And it said something like need your cash or paying cash or something. I don't know. And it's just like, to me, if something like catches my eye, I'm going to go there, stop there, and just talk to the dad first. And like we had a good interaction. We started joking right away. And I was like, hey, do you want to, like, are you buying? And he's like, yeah, what do you got? Showed him some cards. He laughed. Actually, Liz, the other person on the pod who's not here today, was with me. And excuse my language, but he looks at her and he goes, this guy's fucking funny. And I go, you're funny, dude. And we just start going back and forth and kind of just BSing. And he laughed at a couple of the cards, was like, dude, like, I'll give you dinner for these cards. And I was like, all right, but dinner and like a 50. And like we were haggling, but like BS haggling. And I ended up, getting like 250 for some cards. But then the son, it was was like, hey, do you have anything else in the binder in the case? And I was like, yeah, man, whatever, just look through. So him and I literally sat down and he looked through the entire binder or through the entire case. And he was like, all right, I'm interested in a couple things. And it was kind of neat though. He scanned like every card. And again, I was like, what app are you looking at? And his was a different app than the other one. I think it was Card Ladder or something like that. And he was telling me like that one costs like $20 a month. But he explained if you're doing what he's doing, which is selling cards, flipping cards, whatever, $20 is worth it, right? They're making money, obviously. And he did me a favor. Like, I know we were talking about looking at the Steve Eiserman card, and I asked him, like, at the end of this whole thing, I was like, can you scan that card to see what the value is on that for me? Because I'm about to go try to offload it, and I want to make sure, like, hey, I'm getting a fair deal on it. And he was like, yeah, dude, not a problem. Like, I'll take a look at it for you. He did it. He scanned it. He gave me the value. Like, no issues. They were super cool. And then to end it, we were talking about it. I think you guys ended up being there for it, right, when we did the flip. This to me was exhilarating, man. How many times have y'all seen this on the internet? Like, hey, let's flip for 1,100, 1,300. So to finish the deal, he was like, I asked for I think 1,250. He asked for 11, and it was all right. Well, let's do a flip, 13 or 11, and we flipped, and I lost the flip. But to me, it was like that was so fun and exhilarating. It didn't even matter. Like that was so cool because again, to me, I know, John, you said you've gone to these a lot and done this. I've also gone to card shows like Gibraltar, but you unlocked a core memory bringing that up. I live right down the road, like legit down the road. We've gone to those many a times growing up, but I've I've bought things. I've never sold and haggled and spoke to other people about it. Like I've so many things I've bought from Gibraltar growing up.
And you buy them because there's a price tag that says $20, and you give them a $20 bill and you walk away.
Exactly, bro. That was it. Like, but to be on the other side of that and to like not argue over a price, but debate a price, that was so different to me. And it felt cool. And it felt like, I'm not gonna say natural, but it felt fun. And then to see the coin flip thing happen in real life, dude, I was like, man, this is the coolest thing in the world.
The guy that I sold my Blastoise 2, they had a similar thing where if there was a middle ground or whatever it was, I forget what the wording that they used was. They actually had a thing where you were rolling dice, and you rolled 2 dice, he rolled 2 dice, whoever the higher number was the one that won. So that was pretty cool. It was something unique other than just doing a coin flip.
Yeah.
But I
like
was
that.
like, it shows, again, I think that's just a way to show kind of the goodness of the people that are there, because they're, you can tell someone's not trying to rip you off, because they would have been like, you know what, 1100, that's it. That's all you
Right.
get. I'm not going a penny more, blah, blah, blah. But he gave you the opportunity, and he's willing to say, you know what? You won it fair and square. Let's do 1300,
Right.
or we're going to do with 11.
Yep.
And at the same time, you have that core memory now. And if you go to another show and you see those people, you're now more apt to go, hey, that's the guy that I coin flipped last time with. I'm going to go check him out, see what he's got. You never know. You can make a friend. You can make a lifelong business, where you're buying stuff from. It's so much more than just a coin flip for money for a card.
100%.
It is something that is creating a memory and creating a seed that can grow in the future.
Do you regret anything from that day? Because I sure do.
I think we all know. Well, I don't know that John actually regrets it,
I know. I don't think he does
but
either.
I think we could discuss John's questionable snack decision while there.
There
If you
was
wanted to share that, because I feel like it. Well, let me just ask you this: why don't you go ahead and explain your snack purchase, and then if I gave you, 1 through 10, 1 being like deeply like I shouldn't have done that, 10 being, man, that was delicious. Like, where would you put it on the scale?
So at this card show, there was a couple of food stands. Obviously, you've got a lot of people there for a long time, and it was just, I would equate it to food you get at like a high school baseball game or a high school football game.
Generic concession stand,
popcorn,
right?
pretzel, stuff like that.
Slushy,
yeah. So Liz had a icy, and I'm like, I'm gonna go grab an icy. That looks pretty good. And then I saw they had soft pretzels, so I said, hey, you know what? I'm a little hungry. It's about 1:30 in the afternoon. Why don't I get one of these pretzels? Hey, you want cheese with that? Yeah, sure. I want some cheese with that. Well, the first mistake was they put the cheese into the little, paper container thing that usually holds French fries. Well, that tipped over immediately. So it created a mess, and the cheese was no longer in the small container.
Are we blaming somebody else right now?
No. I'm just saying
okay,
that it was not a proper cheese holding
device.
cheese container holding receptacle, if you want to
You know
call
what?
it that.
I can't let you go further without calling this out, because I was told on that day, in that moment, because I questioned you on that. I said, why is the cheese dumped over? And you said you intentionally dumped the cheese over.
Nope. There was no intentionality there. So the problem now lies that the cheese is now inside this container and not in the little cup, right? So, you know what? Okay, we can live with that. Well, this pretzel either was on that rack for about 4 hours, or they had just placed it on the rack. It was not a great pretzel.
No in between.
It was probably about a 2.5 to a 3. The cheese was good, but the problem was that the cheese was everywhere, and I did not have napkins. Therefore, I had cheese all over my hands. I had cheese all over my wonderful whiskers here. And then we found out about 2 hours later that I also had cheese on my shirt. To which I looked down and go, oh man, I forgot to button one of my buttons on my shirt, and looked down and thought the cheese was a button. So it was not one of my finest hours, not one of my worst hours with food, but not one of my finest hours, that's for sure.
I think it looked good, bro.
It
I
was
think the cheese on the button area,
yeah.
It had a little flow to it.
It did, right?
Little flow to it.
But I don't regret anything. Sometimes you just gotta do what you gotta do, and you gotta go with the situation.
Absolutely.
Especially when it comes to food. You never know when your next meal's gonna come. So you gotta take care of what you can when you got it.
Man, say it again for the people in the back.
You never know when your next meal's gonna come. So you gotta take what you can when you got it.
That's right.
Now speaking of meals, we discussed getting a meal on our way to, and actually on our way from.
Hold. Before we get into that, because that's a great segue. But I don't want to go. I don't want to backtrack. Let me real quick before we end the discussion of the Detroit Sports Spectacular, because that's a great discussion. My only regret of the entire show was not getting the two people that I worked with, not getting their info. Like I'm sure they have a TikTok or like a card or whatever. Like I
Yeah.
got their names, but I don't know because everybody had like sports cards kings wrestling.com or whatever, right? Like everybody had their cards or names or whatever on top of their stuff, you know? I didn't get their stuff. And that's my only regret. Other than that, I had a great time. The ride there was great. We had some info we're going to talk about. The ride back was even more informative, that we learned some stuff that we're going to talk about. But my only regret was not getting the information on those two groups of people that I talked about.
You may want to check Facebook. There's a Facebook page that is either Detroit Sports Cards or Michigan Sports Cards, and I know they were posting pictures from it. You never know. You may come across like a picture of the table or something like that you could recognize. So maybe want to check that out.
Did it not have the people listed on the website or anything who had tables?
That's a good point too.
They might.
They might. I don't know for sure, but
I could.
Actually, I did run into one table that I thought was interesting. I don't know if you guys seen it. I think it was maybe near the Pokemon section, but it was a dude he just had tickets, like old tickets. Some of them were it was like national championship tickets, World Series, like physical, which nowadays you can't barely get a physical ticket if you wanted one. I think some places you can't get them anymore. But I thought that was interesting. I'm like, it's a odd trade to be in because not cards, which most of the people were cards other than some people that have some vintage stuff.
Yeah,
but yeah, but I don't know. I was thinking about it, I'm like, I do still have some tickets from like things I've been to in sports events and stuff like that in the past, but I don't know that I would want to buy one that I wasn't at.
It depends, bro. Are you going to lie about like being there? You know what I mean?
Well, I just wouldn't buy it from somebody, so I wouldn't lie about being there. But
well, I know
or maybe if you were there, like let's say I was at the Michigan National Championship game, but I had a digital ticket and I see this dude selling a physical ticket to that game. So it's like, oh, cool, I was there. That would be a cool thing to frame or whatever, do whatever with it.
I was kind of in that situation. I was at the first Verlander no-hitter and I kept my ticket. And I didn't keep it well. I kept it just literally up on a board and things like that. And it kind of got a little bit worn out over the years of just hanging there, things like that. So I actually looked into finding one because I had seen it was like a framed picture that had a ticket stub in there, things like that. And I actually looked into buying one of them because I was like, you know what, I want to kind of commemorate this. It was a super cool thing to be at. It was one of the highlights of my, really my like sports life was being there. And yeah, it's not my ticket, but at the same time, I was there. Like there was no disputing that. So it's like, okay, it's not the seat that I was sitting in, but it's a ticket to a thing that I was at, and I can speak to it. So yeah, I did actually look into that, and it was interesting to see how much those things actually go for.
You were at that game too?
I was at the first Verlander no hitter against Milwaukee.
Yeah. So me and my dad were at that game.
Yeah, that was
just out of curiosity. How much did those tickets go for? You could buy on eBay because I have two very well kept tickets.
I want to say that I was looking for them, and I want to say they were somewhere around $50.
Just out of curiosity, what section were you guys in?
I was behind like first base line.
Can you imagine y'all were like sitting next to each other? You were like same row or something?
Well, dude, full disclosure, I will never forget that day. Dad got them as a Father's Day present from his job, and we went, and it was everybody, and I mean I was hugging people 3 rows in front of me. Hugging, high-fiving. It was awesome, bro. Like
it was
like everybody was family.
Yeah, I was first base side in the third deck. We were going there because it was on one of my best friend's birthdays, and he was like, hey, we're gonna go downtown for the game, let's all go. So we went and we literally bought the tickets there. It was like a walk up to the thing, buy tickets, or we bought them from a scalper or whatever the hell we did. And it's funny because we were drinking in the parking lot before we went in, and we walked in during the third inning, And I literally turned to my buddy, and because we knew Verlander was pitching, so that's one of the reasons why we were going. And I turned to my buddy, and I go, "Hey, look, Verlander's got a no-hitter going." I go, "He's going to get one." And my buddy's like, "Yeah, you're full of shit." And it ended up happening. So he's looking at me the whole time like, shouldn't have said something. But then we were sitting there, and he's right. It was for an open air stadium. It was the loudest thing I've ever heard. It was so tense and so, I guess the only word I can think of is like jubilant at the same time, because every pitch, every swing, every oh my God, I'm gonna forget what his name is. He was number 8. He was playing either second base or shortstop. Made an unbelievable play in the last inning.
What the hell is jubilant?
Carlos
mean?
Guillen?
Jubilant.
No, don't even worry about it. That's why I went like this.
Jubilant. Jubilant is like a celebration.
No, Guillen was number 9. No.
No. God, he was like a 1-year guy.
Infante?
Oh, nope. No, I gotta look him up. He made an unbelievable play at second base. I can't remember if he was playing short or second, but it saved the game at the end. And then he, that fly out to right with Magglio Ordonez grabbing it was just like chills. Mid-season acquisition possibly, because during his tenure with the Tigers, he had 1 home run and 6 RBIs.
Yeah, he couldn't have played much for us.
I think he was a defensive specialist, which is why he was in the game to begin with.
I don't know. I don't know.
Somebody give me a clue.
So if anybody can think of that, the shortstop for Verlander's first no-hitter, he was definitely a journeyman MLB player. I'll say that, and he did not spend much time in Detroit.
No, it literally
looks like 2 seasons, maybe utility type role.
The fact that you figured it out blows my mind too.
He said he found it.
No, I found it because I was
it.
looking up his first no-hitter lineup, and the first one I clicked on was just his first MLB start.
This player he had a hit. Okay. He was batting 180 on the season at the time.
Was that 07 or 06 his no-hitter?
07.
Yeah, he batted $172 on the season.
That's good.
Only 33 games played though. You're never gonna get it, Steve. You're literally there's no shot you get it.
I have no idea.
So his name is Neifi Perez.
Yeah.
And I used to call him Neifi.
Yeah.
The funny thing is too, I'm looking and I'm like, man, I definitely remember his name. I couldn't really picture his face though. And between 2006 and 2007, which he didn't play for any other team but the Tigers, so he must have went up, down. He only played 54 total games between 2 years with the Tigers from 06 to 07.
There was a T in there, wasn't there? Isn't it like Nefty?
No, it's Neifi.
Neifi, yeah.
Listen to this lineup though. This is the lineup for the no-hitter on June 12th.
07.
Shout out Lou for the birthday. That was the perfect day. It was leading off Curtis Granderson.
Yeah.
Batting second, Placido Polanco.
Right.
DHing Gary Sheffield.
Chef's hat, baby.
Batting cleanup and 362 at the time of this game, Magglio Ordonez.
Dog.
Which is crazy.
He was a demon
First
that year.
baseman, the mayor, Sean Casey. Next is...
Love me some Sean Casey.
Pudge Rodriguez. Some guy that I won't mention his name because he's not a very good person. Brandon Inge in the 8th spot. And Neifi Perez in the 9th.
Oh, I'll put it together. I had to think about it for a second.
Yep. I won't say that person's name out loud. He allegedly is not good.
Allegedly.
But yeah, no, I mean, that's, hell, Prince Fielder looks like he might have been a rookie on the Brewers that year.
Wow.
Sounds about right.
It's crazy.
Yeah, so obviously, wait, so you never ended up getting the ticket?
No, I have mine still, and it's one of those things that like I kind of just decided to keep my own. If I ever wanted to put it in a frame, it would look better, obviously, but never really wanted to.
Yeah, the day after, me and my dad put it on a board. We got the newspaper from that day, and we put it all plexiglass or whatever.
Yeah,
and we still have it today. So
Prince Fielder, Ryan Braun, JJ Hardy, Ricky Weeks. I mean, Milwaukee was not screwing around that day, and they still
No,
couldn't hit
they
him.
had some pretty good squads around that time, I feel like.
He did have 4 walks though.
Yeah, he wasn't perfect. Hello.
He
Three-
was early.
three-
But I
How many
believe if
pitches?
I'm 127, if I remember correctly.
No, 112.
Yeah, you'll never see that again. Only 112, really? That's not
Only
bad.
112.
Yeah, that's not bad at all.
I know
And-
Lincecum's no hitters were like once
Yeah, bro, he
48.
was tossing them.
crazy
Yeah,
for modern
big time
for
Timmy
modern
Jim.
time.
3 out of the 4 walks went to the number 9 hitter.
That tends to happen in no hitters for some reason
Yeah.
because they just
Makes sense.
overcompensate. They're like, I gotta throw heat, and I'll just he ain't gonna hit it, and before you know it, you're throwing heat outside the zone.
Right.
So, anyways, Tmac, you want to lead us into this food that we had spoken about?
Sure. Yeah, I mean, it was really just, I don't even know how we got on the subject, but I believe I'm correct, right? It was JMO
Yeah,
who had posted something
hometown
last year,
J-Mo.
maybe the year before, and that boy was smacking a McDouble. But before he smacked the McDouble, he smacked a nice scoop of a McFlurry on the McDouble. And thinking to myself, I feel like it's worth a try.
I think it is too.
I don't know that I would be like, man, that was delicious, because personally, I don't even mess with McDonald's burgers. But I do like a good McFlurry.
And I trust Jameson Williams. That's all I'm saying.
And if J-Mo's doing it, maybe there's some validity there, and maybe it's pretty good. I don't know.
So-
I would try it.
He's
I
a hell
would
of an
try it.
athlete. I trust
And it could be
J-Mo.
good.
It does say online that the way that he said to do it is no ketchup, no mustard, no pickles, no nothing. You basically have the McDouble plain, completely plain. Add the regular or mini McFlurry and spoonfuls of the ice cream straight to the center of the burger.
I saw that.
Yep.
What?
So, Ski, if you have directions, it seems like that you're for this as well.
I'm not for it even a little bit.
But you have the directions, bro. So that honestly,
Well,
that propels you to be the starting 5 in this.
It's not exactly rocket science. I didn't really need to look it up, but I
But you
wanted
did.
to see what this said on it.
But
So let me ask you this. You're sitting down on Thanksgiving. You got your nice big plate. You got the mashed potatoes. It's next to the corn. You just scooping the corn into the mashed potatoes you're eating. You go to McDonald's. You said it yourself. You love a good McDouble.
I
You
love
said
McDouble. I lived
Very
off of them
admitted of
for,
that.
college kid, dollar menu,
Exactly. Dollar McDoubles. Now it's $4 McDoubles.
bro. I think it's
I
actually
don't know how much they are.
$3.49 if I'm not mistaken.
yeah, it's about
Probably.
4 with taxes, depending on states,
So-
depending.
You go to McDonald's and you get you a McDouble, maybe a couple, and you get a McFlurry.
Mini McFlurry.
And so no, just think about it though. You get a McFlurry. So John's eating his McDouble, man, that's good. And then maybe he's taking a couple scoops of the ice cream. So what's the difference?
Nothing.
Instead of eating the burger, couple bites here, couple scoops here, scoop it onto the burger. Now you're getting it all at one time. You're getting the warmth of the patty, the melted
Savory.
cheese that's not
Ooh.
really cheese, touching your lips,
Uh,
and then the Oreo McFlurry just melting in your mouth.
I will admit, there are certain things that do go together. My family, I do come from a family of really weird food eating habits. For example, this one doesn't seem like a big deal, but it is. I have a cousin who wouldn't put salt on her French fries. She put it directly into the ketchup, which I thought was super weird.
Seems weird.
Right. It's the same principle, but weird. But I also have my father.
I wonder, would that dilute the salt?
I don't know.
Any
It
scientists
would
out
have to.
there? Any scientists? We want to know the answer to that.
I mean, it would make
Yeah.
the ketchup salty.
Yeah. But anyways, I also had a very weird father who would put ketchup in chicken noodle soup. Why? No one ever knows. But every Christmas, my uncle would make homemade chicken noodle soup, and my dad would put ketchup in it. And it was weird. So I get it. I understand that people have weird tastes and things like that, especially around like pickles. Like people are weird with pickles. They'll do
Love
pickled like
pickles.
weird stuff with pickles, like
Drink the juice.
Oh, my sister drinks the juice. It's disgusting.
I have a thing in the fridge right now.
It's disgusting.
It's so healthy for you, bro.
I'm sure it is, but it still tastes like
But-
shit.
But so if you with the soup though, with the ketchup in the soup, when you're eating the soup, you probably don't even notice the ketchup's in there, right? I mean, it's probably
looks
just
really
mixed
funny.
in.
It looks really funny because, like, it looks like when you squeeze in there, it's almost like it keeps its shape inside the soup.
Really?
So
I was kind of thinking that actually the way
if you
that
were to
ketchup
take like
is
Laffy Taffy
texture.
and put it in water.
Oh.
Like it did that, but then like you mix it up and it would be on like the noodles and stuff like that. So then whatever. But yeah, it was.
It's just like people like Big T, like people put chocolate in chili. It's a very popular thing. You don't see the chocolate, you don't taste the chocolate even, but it's in the chili.
Hold on.
I have never
Hold on.
in
You
my
never
life
heard of that?
Backtrack on that.
chocolate and chili.
When you say
You've
chocolate
never
and
heard of
chili,
that?
like as an ingredient, or just like, oh, here
As
I got
an
a cup of...
no, as an ingredient, like you're making the chili, you got the cans of beans, you got the ground beef, whatever you're putting in it, kind of meat, and then some melted chocolate in there.
How much chocolate you put in there? I feel
Not
like
not like a ton, maybe a couple little squares of.
Is it like Hershey's chocolate, or is it like chocolate things you put in chocolate chips for cookies? Like, are we talking like I guess I gotta But
you
no,
could do,
it's still
you could
wrong.
You could do Hershey's or not Hershey's. What's like
Mr. Beast?
No, not Mr. Beast. Hold on, chocolate. It's spacing me right now. I want to say like Dove chocolate, like a couple little squares of like Dove chocolate. Just toss a couple in there. It's gonna melt in. It's gonna mix in nice. Again, it's not something you're gonna taste. You wouldn't even know that it's in there unless you're allergic to chocolate and you eat it. And then,
I'd know, and I wouldn't do it.
I'm just saying people do it.
Up stuff,
just like the ketchup thing. So
yeah, it's true. Yeah, well, my dad was a weirdo, and so everyone knew it. Every Christmas, people would be like, "Man, you want the ketchup?" And he'd be like, "Yeah, I do."
So I'm thinking next week, or if the viewers want to see it, they want to, we all get our individual McDoubles and McFlurries and try it on camera.
Little ASMR McDouble McFlurry.
I'm just saying, only if the viewers want to see it, of course, and they're gonna want it.
They're gonna want it. So comment down below.
Shake on it.
Comment down below.
Shake on it.
McDouble. Comment down below McDouble if you want to see John specifically eat a McDouble with a McFlurry on.
Here's what I'll say. Here's what I do. Okay, I will agree to this, but if we get people that want to see something like that, it cannot just be a McDouble with a McFlurry. Each of us has to come up with an easy combination. You, me, Liz, if she wants to participate.
She definitely wants to participate.
The whole purpose is to do the McDouble McFlurry.
Yeah, the whole point is the McDouble McFlurry.
I'm saying we do the McDouble McFlurry, but then each of us also comes up with a different one, and we try each other's concoctions.
Dude, if you want me to try your concoction, I'll do it, but...
So I'm saying, and I don't know,
on the...
so it could be something weird, could be something normal. We just say, hey, listen, like, I want you to try, like, popcorn with, I don't know. Yeah, like, I don't know, something weird, Hey, I want you to dip this, I don't know, pickle and ranch or something. I don't know, whatever. But
pickle and ranch? Interesting.
I don't know. But think of something interesting that, like, you actually weirdly like.
All right, so then we'll do this. So comment down below McDouble if you want to see us eat that combination, or throw out any other weird, obscene combination that you have. And that if anybody has any ideas,
Liz will be included in this 100%.
I'll get everyone a dish. It's a Polish dish, if I'm not mistaken. It's called Chinina.
Chinina? And come on, who do you think you're talking to?
Yeah, he's Polish, bro.
I am Polish, bro.
You know what Chinina is, then, right?
I know exactly what Chinina is.
For the non-Polish people that I'm looking at, it is duck blood soup.
The issue is you're never going to find that.
There's a Polish market. There's a Polish market 2.5 miles that way. My mom and dad would go there all the time, and they'd get that stuff. My dad was a gross human being, and he would eat Chinina. Oh, yeah, this stuff's good, and it's all weird looking, and you're like, this is disgusting. Yeah.
Well, speaking up on the food situation, sometimes when you eat more, or even potentially with these concoctions, certain things happen, and you just have to go to the bathroom, right?
Yeah.
Has there ever been
Yeah.
a time where you're out like swimming and you have to go to the bathroom like that? We were on the drive home and we were told a story where somebody knew somebody where they, well, quite frankly, I'm just going to say it, they took a shit in the water.
So I'll kind of take the lead on this one then. I grew up with some interesting friends. I met these guys later in life, but you know, I'm a little bit older than they are. Got a couple years on both of them, so I've got a little more life experience, a little bit wiser. But there's also a little bit more time there for me to be a complete idiot. So back in the day, it was a Wednesday. I used to go with some friends up north, you know, have a great time, go to the beach, go get some food, have a couple drinks, you know, do a couple, you know, whatever. One of our favorite activities was taking some jet skis out. One year we had, funny enough, the mom who was the kind of chaperone, went out and literally just bought some jet skis for us, which was crazy. I know, but whatever. I digress. So we're out in the middle of Lake Huron, which is not a small lake. And all of a sudden there's a situation where we had two jet skis, two people out there, when all of a sudden one of the jet skis just stops. And what's going on? You see the gentleman who was on this, who I will remain nameless, jumped in the water. What the heck's going on? And he goes, sorry, had to poop. Jumped into Lake Huron, pulled his trunks down, and just shit right there. So I had to ask. I said, I shot him a message. I said, hey, I need to ask you about this, because I don't think I ever did and never really got information. So this is the conversation. I won't put it up anywhere, but I said, hey, do you remember pooping in the water when we were in, it's called Caseville, Michigan, which if you've never been there for cheeseburger in Caseville, you should check it out. It was absolutely, I have fond memories of my adventurous poops, because this guy, I must say, love him to death. I've known him since I was 7 years old. Didn't give a crap where he was. He would crap anywhere. It was so inspiring to see. If he's in the woods, we used to go hunting, take a little hole, boom, done. But anyways, I said, how did it feel pooping in the water? Because I'm curious. And his exact quote was, well, that was far from my first time, and many more since then. It's tricky because the water gives you the illusion of a clean butthole, but it's not. Still, you gotta wipe with something. In that instance, I used the box of a safety whistle inside the jet ski to wipe like I was scraping a wood filler with a putty knife. And I started laughing literally audibly. And I said, we were discussing it. We thought it'd be more like a vacuum that would almost right. Feel like it was going back up. He said, nope, just a normal poop, but more wet.
Physics still don't make sense to me.
I think because it's a solid escaping. If it was a gas, because like if you fart under the water, it creates a bubble. I feel like the gas would be more of a vacuum type situation than actually passing a solid. I don't know physics. I didn't have that part of Science Olympiad. I did other things. I did chemistry, but no, it's I know I am badass.
So I did have physics in Science Olympiad, and what I can tell you is it helped me understand nothing for this situation. However,
that wasn't on the LSATs or whatever.
It was not.
LSATs are for law. LSATs are for law. Has to be a lawyer or go to law school.
It was not a question on the BA exam.
AP Bio.
But what I would imagine, and I'm glad that you read that final text message, because while you were explaining the first part, I started to think about it, and I'm like, so as it comes out and you're underwater, so like when you're underwater, obviously, whatever, you're wearing your swim trunks. In his instance, he would have pulled them down, I assume. Maybe he didn't.
Oh no, he went full trousers, full nudity. The trunks were off.
But your entire body is in water, and every like little microbe around you, it's water everywhere. So as soon as the butthole expands, I would assume some water would have to flow into it. And you might not know that it's happening because maybe it's so minute, the amount of water that's actually getting up in there. But then I was really thinking about the wiping aspect because I was like, well, if you're in the water, I guess it depends what kind of poop it is. But if it's a solid and
Yeah.
it's just
One of those
flows out,
ghost wipes.
would you actually
Yeah,
have to wipe?
yes.
Because maybe just every particle comes off with it.
Yeah.
However, it's not really like, you're just still stagnant in water. You know what I'm saying? It's not like a bidet where water's like spraying at you. So you're just
Exactly.
in
I think it's the
stagnant water. So I
stagnancy
guess
of
I
the water.
understand.
There's no
Right.
movement in it.
I understand why he would still need to wipe. Now, in the manner that he did wipe, I don't know that he needed to do it to that extent.
It was so I remember it distinctly. It was, you have to have a safety whistle on the jet ski, and it was in the plastic like clamshell container thing, and it was the cardboard backing inside of it.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. I know exactly what you're talking about now.
Yeah. And let me put it this way, knowing this human being as well as I do, it did not surprise me at all. I think it was absolutely hilarious. My main concern was as you're sitting there treading water, which is hard enough. Let's be real. You're treading water because it's not like you can touch. You're treading water. Where's the poop going?
Well, you would think it would just float.
Well, right. Like, okay, so you're just sitting there and you're pooping in the water. It's just floating up and like hitting you in the chest or hitting you in the arms and stuff. You're treading water. Are you swimming through your own poop?
He's literally probably.
I would argue no, because I feel like now a lake's not quite like an ocean, but there are still waves even if you are far out. So I feel like the water does still have some type of flow to it. So as soon as that poop goes out, it's probably starting to flow one way. I would have to fact check it, but I also maybe kind of think that's somehow illegal or like
I would also think it might
against
be
like
I feel
state
like
laws.
Accessories at this point.
There's no way.
Whoa, hey brother, hey, I wouldn't there. We're also talking about something that was like 15, 20 years ago, maybe longer.
20, we were probably 50. Yeah, probably about 24, 25 years ago.
I feel like once it hits a decade, like you're pretty clean, unless it's like
statute
murder
limitations.
I'm pretty sure you're clean now.
Oh,
cool. All right, well, I think that about does it for us. Anybody else got anything else to say?
No. That's it.
Anything on the experience? Everything good? Everything?
I think I'm good till next time. I think just circling back to the spectacular
that was in Detroit from Novi.
I think it's a well put together thing. The amount of athletes that they do have there for signings, which we didn't really touch on, but again, none of us really got anything signed. I seen Hutch signing those.
Pause. Technically, someone did buy something that was signed.
I did. I bought a Moritz cider. I don't even know what size that thing is. Probably like
18 by
20 by 18, maybe. I don't know. It's pretty
18 by 24, maybe.
Yeah, for sure.
Just a photograph that has his autograph on it. So it's a legitimate autograph. The guy made
sure you knew it was legitimate.
Yeah, made sure he let me know. Hey, this is how you know it's legit. So I got to find a spot for it down here. I've got enough Red Wing stuff all over. So
maybe right behind you there next to Phil Graham.
I've got a spot on this side. I'm thinking it might go over here, but we'll see.
For sure. But yeah, they do have a ton of athletes there, so it's obviously nice for signings. It was very nice. Well.
It was. Yeah. All right, well, that ends it for us. That's our first official episode, guys. We appreciate you guys coming in. We're out. We'll see you guys next week. Skeeter, Tmac, Coach, Liz, who's not here. We'll see you guys. Appreciate you guys.